Hey. Just doing some talking with Russell of Hotels. Hope all is well. Hey, just decided to go live on YouTube this morning. Normally, I do lives every day, Monday through Friday, but normally on IG. So, but I say, you know what? Let me show some YouTube love and let me do just a quick little live on YouTube. So anyway, happy Thursday. Hope all is well. Today NFL starts, right? That's a good thing. Um, I'm a huge football fan, but I didn't come here to talk about that. I just wanted to basically say, hey, see how things are going. I'm Russell of Hotels. I do a lot everything hospitality, hotels, and non-meat eats. That means I don't eat food. I mean, I don't eat food. I don't eat meat. Well, yeah, you can tell I eat food, right? But no, I'm all about the non-meat eats, which means I have a vegan diet. Okay, not a vegan lifestyle, but a vegan diet. So that means I don't eat meat, cheese, dairy, any of that stuff. So it's all about the non-meat eats. So I just wanted to be clear on that. But I'm a hotel consultant. I help companies and organizations find hotels for their groups. The group is 10 rooms or more. In fact, I was just on a conversation earlier today with a client of mine who's we're finalizing some stuff. She's going to, or her and her group are going to Miami. Yeah, they're going into Miami for 4 days. I think it's 3 days. 3 days, and then they go off, and then part of the group, it's like a group of 30, and then part of that same group goes to Rome, Italy for a few days before they go on a cruise to Greece. So I plan the pre and the post hotel rooms, right? And the cruise stuff, I don't do that. I have done that, but I typically concentrate on the hotel part of it. So um, but yeah, but hotel rooms and transportation, especially in Rome when people don't, we don't know, the customs or the company. So I found out the company that does the transportation and then set all that stuff up. So, but yeah, it ain't easy dealing with another country. They have different customs, different rules, different types of contracts. Some of them don't even use contracts. Sometimes it's like a one-page thing. But all they want is to be paid up front, right? And that can come be kind of scary too. I'm paying this money, am I going to get the services that I signed up for or that I'm paying for? So there's always that uncertainty, but you try to utilize the local people that you may know. So good thing there's a community of hotel people that I have come across in my years in hotels where I can contact them and say, hey, even if I'm not using their particular hotel, I can ask questions about the customs or things that are going on in the area or this particular transportation company versus another one, because they use the same transportation companies, right? So and they can do it kind of an introduction or intro for me, so which they did. So that's always a good thing. So just if you have contacts, it's always good to reach out to your contacts if you can. So yeah, so reach out to your contacts, whatever those may be. Reach out to your contacts in other countries, even other destinations here in the United States. So that's one thing that I do. One thing the hotel community or people like myself, like hotel site selection people or meeting planners, it's kind of a close knit community where if you never utilized a hotel before and you want to utilize it for your group, there's always somebody that had used that hotel before. Like when I think I took a group to New York, and there's a group of hotels that my client was interested in. Um, but I think out of maybe five hotels, I only knew one person that knew of a couple of the hotels out of the five. So we took a big chance and went with another hotel, and it worked out fine. So now for the next person that asked me, "Hey, have you ever took a group to New York?" It's like, "Yeah, I took it to hotel whatever A," and they're like, oh, "Well, how was it?" And I was like, "It was great. Client had a good time," and they end up going to that hotel and had a great time too. So it just kind of a domino effect, if you will. If you have good experience, then you can tell the next client. But it works the same on the other end too, right? If they had a bad experience, you'll let them know that as well, right? So I just had this same client was in a destination and had a pretty horrible experience. She had like say 12 rooms, and out of the 12 rooms, three of those rooms were um, they were dirty when they checked in. So that's a red flag, right? So she let me know after after the trip was over. They ended up finding clean rooms for them, but it took several attempts, several. They had to move to several rooms before they found a room that was satisfactory for them. Um, so things like that are not good. So if somebody asks me about that hotel, I'm not gonna just throw that hotel out there and to the mass. Like today, I'm not just gonna say, hey, well this hotel sucks and you shouldn't stay there. No, what I'm gonna wait if people ask me, say, hey, have you booked this destination before? Yeah. What hotel did you use? Well, I used this. Well, how was it? Well, this is what the client told me, or this is what I know about this particular hotel. So I will let them know that, hey, these are the issues this my client had with this hotel, and they were confirmed issues. So, um, and if they were taken care of, so it's one thing to have an issue at a hotel. It was another thing was it taken care of, and it was a taken care of in a way that it was pleasing to the client. The client walked away saying, okay, I'm good. Thank you very much for doing what you did. But that's not what's going on at this hotel. I just talked to my client this morning about it, and some things that were done still haven't been taken care of. Like a credit card was charged when it should not have been charged, right? Um, because a lot of depending on the type of group, if it's like a social group, we call them SMERF in the business. It's either social, military, um, educational, religious, fraternal, entertainment, whatever. That's what SMERF is an acronym for that. And SMERF are those groups that, for the most part, people pay their own, right? So there may be a group leader, but that group leader may say reserve the rooms, but everybody's responsible. All the attendees are responsible for their own payments and incidentals. So that was the case in this that was the case for this group, but for whatever reason, the hotel took it upon themselves to charge my client $7,000 for the group rooms, right? When first of all they didn't ask for permission. Second, per the contract, that was not in the contract. How do I know that? Because I'm the one that wrote the contract or approved the contract and signed the contract before my client even saw it, right? So that's part of the things that I do um, as a hotel site selection company or agency or specialist. I negotiate the contract, negotiate the rates, the pricing, and the contract negotiations as well. What should be in the contract versus what shouldn't be in there, because based on the type of group it is, there's certain language that should appear in a contract. Um, like say for a SMERF group, there are certain things that maybe shouldn't be in there if you're comparing it to like a corporate group. Corporate groups, for the most part, a company is paying for that, right? They're not on their own. Basically, everything goes to a master account. So there's a lot of other things that come along with that, right? So, but if it's a SMERF group, that means each individual, for the most part, are paying their own way, right? So market segments matter. Okay, it matters. It should matter to people that are booking, like myself, and maybe people that don't have the experience that I do. But it does matter because there's certain things that should not be in a sales agreement. That it shouldn't be a boilerplate sales agreement, meaning boilerplate meaning that's the standard for everybody. It doesn't matter what kind of group it is, doesn't matter what kind of market it is. We're just going to give you the same one and you sign it. Well, you don't need all those things, okay? And they'll slide some things in there that you have no idea what it is, like a porterage fee. You know what a porterage fee is? Porterage fee is basically used for um, tour and travel groups, people that travel, say abroad. They're coming from another country to the U.S. and they're coming as a group, and the bellmen are in charge of unloading the bags, and they're placing all the bags. They're all labeled, right? They tag them, and the guests never have to touch the bag, right? The guest just walks in and goes to the room or goes on the excursion or whatever, and when they come back, the bag is in their room. Well, the bellmen do that, right? So the bellmen are in charge of that. So that's a porterage fee, meaning they charge them for in and out porterage fees, meaning to deliver the bags and to pick it up and then put it back on the bus, right? So that's a fee that they have to be charged, right? The guest has to be charged for that. But sometimes hotels, and I've seen this before, hotels will put that in there, meaning they may have forgot that it was in there. Maybe it was just basically a copy and paste kind of thing. And like I said, all groups, it's not one size fits all for all groups. Okay, all groups should not have a porterage fee. Corporate groups should not have a porterage fee. Leisure groups should not have a porterage fee because a lot of times they don't even know that it's there. And sometimes hotels may prey on that, or maybe, like I said, maybe they forgot. Maybe this is an honest mistake and they forgot. I don't know. But I've seen one of my corporate groups got charged a porterage fee. Now, my client didn't know what it was. They just basically were going to sign the contract. So she contacted me and said, "Hey, can you look over this contract for me before I sign it?" And I had not planned this particular meeting for her, right, or this group. So I looked over the contract, and the first thing that it popped up was this porterage fee. I'm like, "Well, why is there a porterage fee?" She goes, "What is that?" She wasn't even sure what that was, and I kind of explained it like I explained a couple minutes ago what it is. She goes, "Oh no, we don't want that." And it was a difference. They were charging her because she had it's a decent sized group. It's probably about 50 people, 50 rooms or whatever. And the porterage was between, I'm gonna say, $3,500 and $5,000. I was like, what? And she was like, oh my God, thank you for bringing it up. So I told her, highlighted it, sent it back to her, and said, hey, make sure they take this out. And they did, and it could have been an oversight. But if you sign it, if it's an oversight or not, if you sign it, you're responsible for it because they're going to enforce whatever was signed for. Okay, so if it's in there and you signed it, they're going to enforce it. Okay, so there you go. So that's just a couple of tips from Russell of Hotels. Just walking. No, I'm not walking today. I'm just talking with Russell of Hotels. Normally I'm walking, get my exercise in, but I didn't do that yet. I may do that a little later. But I just wanted to go live and just talk and see what comes up. And that's what came up. So you got a couple of tips for today. So anyway, you guys have a great day, and we'll see you soon on Walking and Talking with Russell of Hotels. Peace.